Thanks for that. Well, in what is one of the largest deals which have taken place in a pan-India operator, Singapore-based PE fund Temasek is buying controlling stake in India's second largest hospital chain, Manipal Hospitals, for over $2 billion. Temasek, remember, already owns 18% stake in the hospital and will be buying an additional 41% from promoters and others for around 16,400 crores. Manipal, with 8,300 beds, a hospital chain with 29 hospitals in 16 cities, is India's second largest pan-India player after Apollo Hospitals. The company, which is looking to ramp up its bed count to around 10,500 in 2 years, has seen revenues more than doubling year on year to around 4,000 odd crores and margins expanding to around 24% in FY22, valuing the deal at around 10 times FY22 sales. Talking about valuations, in the past 5 years, valuations have risen as much as 8x in the Indian hospital space. 2018, for example, saw two pan-Indian hospital companies sell stake, Fortis as well as Max Health. Fortis, interestingly, which was once bid for by Manipal and sold to IHH, another non-Indian promoter, for a valuation of around 13,000 odd crores, currently has a market cap which is almost 50% higher. In the same year, KKR picked up majority stake in Max Health for a valuation of just around 4,265 odd crores. The current market cap is at over 42,000 crores. KKR also exited Max with a 5x gain last year. Valuations for Indian hospital, experts say, really pivoted during COVID-19, which benefited from better improved long structural drivers such as better medical awareness, insurance penetration post the pandemic, and medical tourism reverting back to normal levels. And Manipal's valuations doubling just in the past 2 years is a good indication of this interest. In 2021, National Investment Infra Fund, or NIIF, invested around 2,100 crores for 8 to 9%, valuing the company at around 25 to 26,000 crores, which has now almost doubled to around 40,000 odd crores. And this is reflected in hospital stocks too, which have risen anywhere between 25 to close to 100% for some since the start of FY22. Lastly, this deal also points to a trend of PE funds doing control deals in the Indian healthcare space. Besides KKR, Max, other recent examples include Ontario Teachers Fund and Sterling Hospitals and Upward PE and the Samara Marengo platform as well.
All right, Ekta, thanks a lot for that. In fact, to discuss this further, we have with us Cyndrella Carvalho, who's from JM Financial, joining us now. Cyndrella, what do you think are the drivers of the valuation zoom that we've seen in the last 5 years, apart from, of course, all of us realizing how broken our healthcare structure is during the pandemic? But more importantly, going forward, do you think these will sustain and give the same sort of returns going forward?
Yeah, so from the valuation perspective, the Indian healthcare sector is yet highly underserviced, right? So we will need a lot of investment going into the sector to boost it further and service the entire Indian population. We still need a lot of investment to come in to, talk about valuations. I think the valuation surge has been well supported by the volume growth also in the sector, and the volume growth of other listed hospitals, if you see, have been steadily stronger post-pandemic as well. So I think these are major indicators that our entire Indian population's healthcare needs need to be serviced at a larger and wider scale. And that's where I think these valuations are indicating that how much of growth is visible in this market. And given that there is still a lot of population and segment underserviced, these valuations will only look upwards, given that we are looking at one of the closest to the largest player, and the valuation of this deal also appears to be closer to the Max and Apollo's valuation at this point in time, is what our sense is. So it is the need of the hour and the ability and the kind of space that we have in the entire healthcare system, which needs the growth to come in the entire sector to drive the overall valuations and the service part of the sector, which will go up with the valuation part.
Okay, Cyndrella, hi, welcome to the show. Well, what does this mean in terms of further consolidation within the entire hospital space? The key question is that are the likes of Apollo and the others up for sale, or potential interest is something that you talk to your clients about as well?
No, it is not in terms of sale, but I think how we should look at this deal is from a perspective of investment in the healthcare sector in India. The kind of growth that the healthcare sector or the hospitals specifically have given in the entire space have been humongous, right? We have seen the same is reflected even in the valuation. If you will see, the market cap have also grown in the similar direction over last 1 year. Post pandemic, we thought that this will normalize, but however, the volume growth has continued in the similar trajectory, which indicates that our need of healthcare systems, specifically when we look at our coverage like Medanta, where we have seen a recent listing, right? We have seen these performance coming from these hospitals have been very sturdy, and volume growth as well as earnings performance, as well as this is driving the interest of all the private players also, because they see the growth potential of the sector yet to reach its peak, and there is a lot room to grow and develop the sector as we go ahead, with healthcare becoming more and more customized and specific to individual needs. So this is a very growing area, and it will kind of enable a lot of growth coming in the sector going ahead. So that's the thought I think we have to dwell on and carry forward with. That's how we should look at it.
Leave us with specifics, Cyndrella. Which is the stock that you like the most in the space that you cover? Where do you think is the maximum upside?
So at this point in time, as you're aware, we cover Medanta and Aster from our coverage, and both are on buy call from our side. We are looking at it from an individual perspective, but on an entire hospital sector, I remain positive, and we are looking forward to it that we will increase our coverage also on this. On the pharma sector, we like Sun Pharma and Dr. Reddy's. On the diagnostic side, we like Dr. Lal and Metro and Vijaya. So these are the names that we are looking at. Even on the domestic side, we like IPCA. These are the names that we have been looking in terms of investment and upside perspective, which remain at this point in time very attractive, given that the entire valuation in the healthcare space has been looking on the upward trajectory, and we see that the earnings trajectory also will follow in the similar direction going ahead. So that's our take on the entire sector.
Okay, all right, Cyndrella, we're going to let you go on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and talking to us. Well, for Max for today, in fact, there is a positive note by Motilal Oswal, which is helping in terms of sentiment as well, where they've initiated coverage on that particular